Grand Theft Auto 6 is 96 days out. With that being said, we're breaking down everything that has to do with the game up until the releases. Let's get into it. This video is about all the gangs and factions in GTA 6, a deep dive, a video we're reacting to by Bogan Bob. Let's get into it.
Rockstar Games are set to launch Grand Theft Auto 6 later this year, and it's set to
Yeah,
be the biggest and most detailed open world they've ever
biggest,
built.
most
From smuggling
fires
operations through the keys
game
to bikers
ever.
controlling entire towns out in Ambrosia, and street gangs getting involved in turf wars throughout Vice City, it's clear that Rockstar have
Yep.
put a lot of time and effort into the criminal underworld in Leonida. For the past few weeks, I've been going through everything there is to know about Grand Theft Auto 6, and what I found with the gangs and factions goes way deeper than it did in previous games. If you're new here, my name's Bav, and I'm doing a deep dive series on all things GTA 6 in anticipation for the series' next installment. So
I
if you
got
haven't
time
already,
for
be
all
sure
that
to subscribe
editing,
so you
y'all.
don't miss
I'm
out
gonna be
on
real
any
with you.
of my future videos.
I
Let's
shout out
start
all the
things off with
editors.
San Fasan, and they're based out of a neighborhood in Vice City called La Pearl. This is going to be Rockstar's fictionalized version of Little Haiti from the real-life Miami.
How
We
he
first
get the
got the name
names of
La
them?
Pearl from Trailer 2 when Jason is driving past the police on his way to the prison. It shows up again on a notice board in the background
No,
of
not
this
the
scene,
name of the
and
place,
in
but
one
the
of the
name of the
screenshots we
game.
can
He
even see
said
the
San
word Pearl
Fasan.
graffitied into the pillars. For now, just know that San Fasan own the neighborhood of La Pearl, and that Pearl tag we saw spray painted earlier on the pillars isn't just some kind of background detail, because it shows up again as a chest tattoo on one of the gang members, signifying his loyalty to his neighborhood. If we go back to Trailer 2, when Jason is driving past the cops we mentioned earlier, we can see San Fasan written on the wall of this building. Then going back even further to Trailer 1, there's a shot where we can see an NPC wearing a chain that says S4S. Between the graffiti tag, the chest tattoo, and the chain, Rockstar are making it pretty clear that San Fasan owns La Pearl. As for how they dress, San Fasan members wear blue bandanas, which is pretty similar to what the Haitian gang wore in the original Vice City with the blue and purple colors. What we're seeing in GTA 6 is likely the natural evolution of the Haitian gang into the modern GTA universe. Given that Rockstar faced some pretty severe backlash for one particular mission in GTA Vice City where you had to all the Haitians, I think it makes a lot of sense that they went with a different name. There's also a shot from Trailer 1 where an NPC is wearing a red bandana, which a lot of people in the community think could be a rival gang, possibly based on the Cubans from GTA Vice City. Now, we don't know that for sure, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see multiple rival gangs throughout Vice City and Leonida. Now let's talk about the possible real-world inspiration behind the game. San Fasan is likely based on a real gang in Miami called Zopound, and the names actually connect in a way that feels intentional once you translate both of them. Zopound got its name from Zo, the Haitian Creole word for bone, since the members were known to be hard to the bone. San Fasan goes in the other direction, with San being the Creole word for blood, making their name translate to blood for blood. Zopound started out in Little Haiti around the 1990s, but it wasn't originally a street gang. It actually started as a self-defense group made up of young Haitian immigrants who were
This person has done their research.
Being targeted and beaten up by other kids at school just for being Haitian. A group of them banded together to protect each other, and then over time that turned into a serious criminal organization and eventually got involved in trafficking cocaine through the port of Miami. Some of their crews would even illegally board incoming ships and steal their cargo. It ended up gaining federal attention, and a lot of their members were taken down. But that wasn't the end of Zopound, because back in 2018, when XXXTentacion was shot and killed during a robbery, the three men convicted of that murder were all tied back to Zopound. And just a quick shout out to my good friend Sav for being the one to draw the connection between these two gangs in his Vice City deep dive video. If you guys want to learn more about each of the locations in GTA 6, then I'll leave Sav's channel linked down below. The final chapter, MC, is based in Ambrosia, and Rockstar's own description of the town gives away everything you really need to know about how much power this club really holds. It reads, "The Allied Sugar Crystal Refinery provides the jobs, while local biker gangs provide almost everything else." So you've basically got two systems running that town side by side. The legal one through the refinery, and whatever this biker gang controls underneath it. Since the Sugar Refinery runs the legal side of Ambrosia and the MC runs everything else, there's a chance hints that these two aren't just coexisting, because they could actually be working together in some capacity, or at least staying out of each other's way because it benefits both sides. A company town like Ambrosia historically needs someone to handle the stuff that can't happen through official channels, and a local biker gang with actual structure and enforcers sitting right next door is exactly the kind of muscle that arrangement would need. From the official screenshots, we can see several members wearing the club's patch, and that is a Grim Reaper looking figure opening a book. But if we pay close attention to the smaller patches, we can see that the club was actually founded all the way back in 1982. So the club has a long running history in the town of Ambrosia. Another cool but random detail is that one of the members has a patch for John Samuel's Tennessee whiskey, which is basically Rockstar's version of Jack Daniels. Now here's the part that I think is worth digging into. The color scheme on their patch has been compared by the community to a real motorcycle club called the Banditos. The Banditos were founded back in 1966 in Texas, and they're known for their red and gold fat Mexican patch. It's one of the most widely recognizable outlaw biker patches in America, and the colors of the Final Chapter's MC vest line up pretty closely with the Banditos. While the patch colors point to the Banditos, the actual region the Final Chapter MC is based in lines up with a completely different club called the Warlocks MC. So Rockstar seems to have borrowed the look from one real club and the location from another to build their own original motorcycle club. In one of the other screenshots from Trailer 2, you can see a member wearing a patch that says Enforcer. The fact that Rockstar gave a name rank to one of these members is pretty interesting, because the Lost MC in GTA 5 never really had anything like that, probably because Trevor killed all of the ranked members. That said, there were a few NPCs that did have their rank on their vest, but they were just random NPCs that would sometimes be wearing a rank. They weren't really important named characters or anything like that. This tells me that Rockstar might actually be going back to what they built in GTA 4's The Lost and Damned, where the club had an actual hierarchy, and if that's the direction they're taking with the Final Chapter MC, it could make this one of the more layered gangs in the entire game.
I find the bike gangs is going to be a thing
that we've actually got
in GTA 6.
When Rockstar announced the pre-orders, inside of the Ultimate Edition, we got a glimpse at PTT
Youngins.
And the description Rockstar provided says, raid the compound of Southside Vice City's loudest and most socially active gangs. So right away, we know two things. They're based in Southside Vice City, and they've got a strong social media presence, which makes sense given that a lot of the scenes from Trailer 1 showed us that social media is going to play a pretty big part in this game. But going back
last
to
video we just
screenshot
did,
for
go
PTT
check that out.
we can see that one of their members is filming a video of two other members on a motorbike inside of the compound. We can likely expect to see them flexing on camera the same way a lot of real street gangs do these days. The compound itself is confirmed as something that you can actually raid in the game, and it might be tied to a
Ultimate
bigger
Edition
system
though.
of gang hideouts that you can hit for loot and contraband. It's the same kind of system we'll talk about with the next game. There's also a theory floating around that PTT Youngins might be the same group of bikers riding through La Pearl. At first glance, you'd probably assume that they're San Francisco members given that they're in La Pearl. But if you compare their outfits to what's shown inside the Southside compound, the colors and style match PTT Youngins a lot closer than they match what we see.
I hope when you ride through the city, it'll just have random bikers and
crew, then this means we'll
quad
be
members
some form
riding
of
through.
turf wars between rival gangs. Again, this isn't confirmed.
And if you
I'm
try to jack
speculating
one of
here,
their
but I think
bikes,
a lot of us would love to
they
see
all pull
turf
out
wars
guns
make
on
it
your
to
ass.
GTA 6. Beyond that, we don't really have much else to go off. It's unknown if this guy is the leader of the gang or if he's just another member, but between the raidable compound and the social media detail, PTT Youngins feels like one of the more distinct gangs on this list. Okay, now we're getting into the two gangs we know the least about, starting with the Guardia brothers. Everything we have on this one comes from the 2022 leaks, and again, there's not much to go off of. The leaks reference something called a Guardia hideout located in North Vice City, and that's basically the entire extent of what's been confirmed. What we do know is that hideouts like this seem to be part of a wider system in which we're able to raid them, just like what we spoke about with PTT Youngins compound. So it's fair to assume that the Guardia brothers hideout in North Vice City could work the same way, where we are able to raid their stash. Whether that hideout still exists in the final game, or whether the Guardia brothers even survived 4 years of development since that leak dropped, is honestly anyone's guess at this point. But the name itself is worth pulling apart, because
That's a
Guardia
great question.
is
They
the
might not
Spanish
survive the
word for
4
guard.
years.
That alone tells you that this probably isn't a Haitian or American gang, but it's more likely rooted in Latin American crime, which lines up with a pretty interesting comparison the community has made. Back in GTA Vice City stories, two of the main antagonists were the Mendez brothers, Diego and Armando, and they ran a powerful drug cartel out of Vice City in the early 80s. The Mendez brothers were of Bolivian descent, and they spoke a mix of Spanish and English throughout the game. So if the Guardia brothers are following that same family-run structure with a Spanish name and a cartel-style operation instead of just another street gang, it would make sense for Rockstar to be drawing inspiration from the Mendez brothers to form the Guardia brothers. And now the one we basically have nothing to go off of, and that is the Far Right Militia. All we've got are 3 event labels pulled from the 2022 leaked debug UI, and they are the Far Right Militia Training, Far Right Militia Trucks Only, and Far Right Militia Final Visit. The community have been trying to piece together where the Far Right Militia are going to be based on the map. Some people have been speculating that they could be based up near Mount Caliga, and some people are even saying that they could be down in the Grass Rivers. At this point, no one really knows, and it's honestly unclear if this group is even going to function as a real gang with
that little chihuahua on the beach, man, they're gonna get run over.
Ambient encounter that you can stumble upon while out exploring. Given how little we have on this, I'd lean towards them being more of a background detail than a fully developed faction. And now for the bonus round, because a few of our main characters are clearly connected to criminal operations that don't have an official gang or faction name attached to them yet. Let's start with Brian Hedder. We know that Brian runs a smuggling operation out of his boatyard in Key Lento, and Jason works for him loading contraband into planes and onto boats. In the footage, we can see a plane dropping cargo over water, and in another shot, Jason and Cal are out fishing with Cal holding a pair of binoculars, likely keeping an eye out for an airdrop. Real smuggling operations like this almost always involve other traffickers, whether they be friendly crews that we're in business with or rival crews trying to steal our contraband. Then there's Booby Ike. From what we know, he runs an empire that was built mostly on drug money, and that kind of operation takes more than just one guy. So more than likely, Booby has his own crew handling the dirty work while he keeps his hands clean, even if Rockstar haven't given that crew a name yet. And finally, we have Raul Batista, who's described as someone who is always on the lookout for new talent. If Raul's out there recruiting people for jobs, that means there's a wider pool of criminals operating around Leonida that he's aware of. Maybe crews running their own heists and robberies that he taps into whenever he needs extra hands. None of this is confirmed, obviously, but when you look at how deep Rockstar have already gone with San Fasan and the Final Chapter MC, it wouldn't be surprising if these 3 ended up being connected to actual named organizations by the time the game releases. And that pretty much covers everything we know so far about the gangs and factions in GTA 6 before we get our hands on the extended look in the coming weeks. Now, a lot of this stuff, especially with what came from the leaks, could have changed, but while we wait for more information to drop, this is the best breakdown we can put together with what's out there right now. If there's anything you've spotted in the trailers, the screenshots, or even the leaks that I didn't cover in this video, please do let me know down in the comments below. If you did enjoy the video, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.
Okay, that was a dope video. Got me excited for the games. That should be dope. Y'all, what y'all think though? Are y'all excited for the games? Which ones you most looking forward to beef with? You know, or which ones you looking most forward to working with? I myself want to test them all, see what they about. That's just me though. But y'all let me know. It's your homie CT, aka your man Smiley Badon. Until the next one, peace.